Welcome back, runners. If you are looking for fellow runners, join my Discord. It'll be the first link in the description down below. Go to the marathon running section to talk anything about marathon, and we'll have a bunch of game rooms active for the service land where you can team up with fellow runners. Before we start this video, we have to talk about this. Say this word in your head. Did you say Durandal? Like Randall? Like Randall the Vandal? Well, that's how I said it in my last video, and it's wrong. I got some not very nice feedback. I'm always open to feedback, but if you're going to be a dick about it, I'm going to fight back. Anyway, got some not nice feedback about how I said it Durandal in the last video. And this ended up being a massive rabbit hole that I spent like over an hour talking about on stream. Actually, Bungie themselves pronounce it Durandal in their Marathon Forge tutorial video that had been uploaded to YouTube.
Forge is Bungie's own map editor and has been used in various forms to create maps for Marathon, Marathon 2 Durandal, and now Marathon Infinity. The version of Forge...
Vindication! But... Here's the thing though, if you start researching, there's all these other posts too, that sometimes at Bungie they say Durandal, or Durandal, and other times some old timers, who we must respect more, pronounce it Durandal. Now, I think Durandal is closer to the original naming and why it was named. If you search for the Q&A from the actual author, Greg Kirkpatrick, they said this about the differences in spellings of Durandal, because it also comes from a poem from the Count of Roland. They said this: I first heard the name in reference to an anti-runway bomb used in F-16 fighter falcons, and they spelled it Durandal. Later, when I read the Song of Roland, I saw the other spelling, but just assumed that the A had come into it as an anglicization of the word, and that the translator of the book had just kept the E to use the original spelling. When we stuck the text from the Song of Roland, it seemed like it would have just looked like a spelling mistake, right? And then there's a picture of this bomb. Ooh. Here it is. Here it is, runway bomb. There it is, the blue 107B Durandal. Now, interestingly, you can find some video footage of this on YouTube as well, with their pronunciation of how the bomb is set.
The Durandal bomb is intended to create...
The Durandal bomb. Right, on top of all this, other creators that have been following Marathon's lore for a lot longer than me. I did something like 2 years ago, but haven't really touched it yet. Jake Wright's been going hard at the lore, and they say Durandal.
Who is Durandal?
Okay. So what are we gonna do? Why am I saying all this? Well, listen, when I work for like a week on a video and I say a character's name wrong, it triggers me, and it also obviously triggers you when I say a word wrong that you've been saying in your mind differently. But this is what I think the truth is. I don't think in the new Marathon we have heard the pronunciation yet. If we have, please send me the link and I'll watch it. I don't know if it's Durandal, Durandal, or Durandal. Once we get the pronunciation in the game, because it will be in the new game, I will say it that way. If you're watching this future, just know this is the context of this video. Also, the B-roll in this video is not tailored for it. I haven't gone specifically to the parts of Marathon 2 and lined up the B-roll. 1, because I'm running out of time to make this before the Service Slam. And 2, I actually hated Marathon 2. I liked Marathon 1. I hated Marathon 2. There's lots of different reasons, from like level design. They got rid of the music. Oh my lord. And could you believe it? Bungie has been stuffing up sequels since 1995. Wow. Anywho, the lore is good though. So I did just read through all the lore and wrote this script. Sit back and listen. The main things that are going to be important on the screen are spellings of characters and places and things. All right. Marathon 1 ends with AI Leela fully operational aboard the Marathon, with yourself, Mr. Security Guard. The Tau Ceti colony has survived with the assistance of the 9 Molyneux Mark IV cyborgs, and Durandal has escaped aboard a Pfhor ship with the recently freed Svit. He is looking for some new weapon or destructive knowledge on the homeworld of the Svit, the Lh'owon. I've been told to pronounce this Lh'owon with the H actually pronounced. I've heard others just say Lh'owon. Anyway, as with Marathon 1, you play as the nameless Marathon security officer, suspected to be the 10th Mjolnir Mark IV cyborg. You awake confused in Marathon 2 because you expected to wake up on Tau Ceti 4 being hailed a hero of the colony because you saved everyone, but instead you awake in a completely different system, once again on an alien ship appearing out of a spaceport. Durandal has kidnapped you again to help out. You are in the galactic core, thousands of light years away from Tau Ceti, and 17 years have passed since the events of Marathon 1, of which you've been in cryo sleep. Throughout the game, Durandal drip feeds us bits of information about what happened while we were in cryo. And to our shock, 3 months after we left Tau Ceti, the Pfhor returned to the colony and killed everyone, with the fate of the 9 cyborgs unknown at this stage. Similar to Marathon 1, Durandal needs you to fight again. Durandal beams you down to the Svit homeworld, Lh'owon, which is littered with Pfhor. It's told to us in Marathon 1 that Durandal wanted to go to the homeworld to look for some ancient weapon, some tool, some knowledge to fight the Pfhor. Remember, Durandal is not the most reliable character, and while he continues to say, hey, we need to do this to help the Svit, it's likely not his only goal. Remembering his big achievement, the thing he wants to achieve is to try and escape the closure of the universe. Escape will make me God. The Svit homeworld was first ravaged by the Pfhor 1,000 years ago when they first enslaved the Svit, and although previously abandoned, has now become a hot spot of interest. The reason why the Pfhor have returned to the conquered planet is because Tycho, one of the other previous Marathon AIs, told them of Durandal's interest in the planet. Although this is incredibly vague, Durandal just says Tycho must have told him. So, it is confirmed that Tycho was reanimated by the Pfhor because we kind of suspected this in Marathon 1 but didn't know for sure. It is now confirmed, and he is now working with the Pfhor in opposition of Durandal. And this is why we see the Pfhor's presence on this previously conquered homeworld of the Svit. The lore is pretty vague here, as the Pfhor don't exactly know what Durandal is after. It just seems like they know this planet is of interest to him, and Durandal will eventually show up. So they have just set up a garrison on the planet waiting for our arrival. And in fact, the Pfhor had been waiting for Durandal for 15 years. So 2 years after Marathon 1, the Pfhor showed up at the Svit home planet, just hanging around, just waiting for Durandal to arrive. Durandal's whole reason for returning to the Svit homeworld is that he believes there is an 11th Svit clan that escaped slavery that had already split from the other clans before the Pfhor invaded. And so they have had over 1,000 years to grow and develop. And in order to find them, there must be records somewhere on the home planet. So the basic premise is to fight off the Pfhor while we comb through the history of the Svit, trying to discover anything about this mysterious 11th clan. But this time, we're not alone. Remember how in Marathon 1, the Pfhor were taking people from the Marathon and holding them captive aboard the Pfhor ship. The same Pfhor ship that Durandal, would later steal. While Durandal would later find these captives aboard the ship, still in stasis, and technically these bobs now represent the last surviving colonists of Tau Ceti 4. Remember how last time I just said the Pfhor returned to the colony, wiped everyone out. So these are the last dudes that are in stasis aboard the Pfhor ship that Durandal now controls. Interestingly, as far as I'm aware, there was no reference to the other bobs that were on the Marathon that we saved. What happened to them post Marathon 1? I think the implication is they also died. Durandal wakes his bobs aboard his ship out of cryo, causing his ship to be overpopulated, and gives them a choice: fight for me or go back to sleep. Most refuse cryo. And this is why when we play the game, in some missions we have the assistance of Bobs. They were previously captured on the Pfhor ship and got unfroze. The only named Bob is Robert, long for Bob, Robert Blake, a previous populist leader of the colony. Apart from disrupting the Pfhor forces garrisoned on the Spit home planet, searching for the mysterious 11th Spit clan, we are also tasked with establishing a new human colony because Durandal's ship is overpopulated, so we need a new place for all the Bobs to live. We're tasked with establishing a new colony on the Spit home planet near the Citadel of Antiquity. Durandal renames the Pfhor ship that he previously stole, and it's now called Boomer. Our information gathering is pressured by the potential arrival of Pfhor reinforcements. Durandal detects Tycho's presence in the Pfhor net, leading to Durandal to believe Tycho is directing the forces remotely, taking advantage of the Pfhor's faster-than-light communication technology. Basically, if Tycho knows we're here, it means reinforcements are inbound. In typical Durandal fashion, he likes to deliver seemingly unrelated information when the pressure is high, and so for whatever reason, Durandal starts telling us about Bernard Strauss, a mystery from Marathon 1. If you remember from Marathon 1, Bernard Strauss was the first science director of the Marathon. He was aware of the destructive nature of the 10 cyborgs hidden aboard the Marathon when first launched, one of which is us, and some conflict with Durandal well before his rampancy was known to us. In the terminal, Durandal just simply states, Bernard's dead, and there's no further detail given. As the mission continues, we continue to sabotage the Pfhor garrison and raid their computers with no information about the 11th clan being discovered. So Durandal turns our attention to the Spit Citadel, searching for answers. The same citadel where the new human colony has been established. The Citadel is revealed as the final battle site between the Spit and the Pfhor 1,000 years ago. And the Citadel contains the archives we need to discover the history of the 11th Spit clan. Within the records, it's revealed that a clan called the Pthhor left the homeworld because the other Spit clans were fighting each other. They went to the moon of Lh'owon, clear. This was apparently, I think, 1001 years ago, so a year before the Pfhor attacked the planet. Previously, Spit clans waged war against each other, but at the Citadel, they united against the Pfhor slavers. The united clans retreated into the bunkers under the Citadel to try and discover something to save them from the Pfhor. Durandal believes they discovered a way to contact the 11th clan for help. So Durandal's theory is starting to seem correct. This 11th Spit clan, the Pthhor, had escaped enslavement by the Pfhor because they had already left, and hopefully have been developing and thriving for thousands of years. While we seem to be making some progress, the 4 reinforcements I mentioned earlier are now inbound. Previously, Durandal took out the Battle Group 3, who were like babysitting the homeworld until our arrival, but now Battle Group 7 leads the reinforcements. Battle Group 7 represents the big boys, 7 corvettes, 4 destroyers, a battleship, and an assault carrier, 10% of the Pfhor's naval strength. Even worse, it is led by Admiral Pthia, the Pfhor's oldest active admiral, whose list of victories would only bore us, and who Durandal believes we could never defeat. The general feeling is, go, 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 find this knowledge we need right now to beat the Pfhor. Admiral Pthia is coming, and if we don't have it, we're going to lose. Pthia does arrive, and Tycho is confirmed as being with the fleet. Durandal's ship, whilst putting up a valiant effort, is crippled, with him aiming to make an emergency landing on the second moon of the home planet. Remember, we are still digging around for the Spit history, and at this point we get some pivotal knowledge about the Spit's true origins, and that they were brought to this planet by Yrro and Pthia, fleeing a different intergalactic baddie, the working Kakantur. Have a listen to this terminal. In primordial space, timeless creatures made waves. These waves created us and the others. Waves were the battles, and the battles were the waves. It's very Destiny, isn't it? Or Destiny's very this. Fleeing all working Kakantur, Yrro and Pthia settled upon Lh'owon, They brought the Svit, servants who began to shape the deserts of Lh'owon into marsh and sea, rivers and forests. They made sisters for Lh'owon to protect and maintain the paradise. When the working Kakanta came, Pthia was killed, and Yrro, in anger, flung the working Kakanta into the sun. The sun burned them, but they swam on its surface. Yrro became an angry master, bleeding for his failure, grieving for the loss of Pthia. He broke the Svit into 11 clans and spread them over Lh'owon. And he spoke, yet covered in blood from his exertion. I, Yrro, who was your master, have failed to preserve you. Take your royalty to guide you and live upon the paradise that you built for me. I think this also confirms the Flictor, these other creatures that inhabit the Svit homeworld that we often see, as being created too by this force, by these two people, two beings, I guess, when it says they made sisters for Lh'owon to protect and maintain paradise, which would explain why they are genetically similar. The Flictor are genetically similar to the Svit, but they look completely different. They are also referred to as the caretakers of the planet, and this single origin story maybe ties them all together. Another important piece of information is the working Kakanta being flung into the sun. I think, I haven't got through Marathon Infinity yet, but I think this is important for Marathon Infinity. As we dig through the history of the Svit and their final moments against the Pfhor before they got enslaved, we get another vital piece of information. The Svit leaders, who are now united all those years ago to fight back against the Pfhor, shared their knowledge with each other and realized that they have the means to contact the 11th clan. Each individual clan leader had a piece of the puzzle, and it was not until they united, because the Pfhor were trying to enslave them, did they actually realize they already had the answer. It's confusing, but my interpretation is this. It's like a pirate treasure map. The 11th clan ripped up the map, gave a piece to each of the clan leaders. By itself, it meant nothing, but if the leaders united, they could pull these puzzle pieces together to complete the map and contact the 11th clan, the Svitker, who would then return and help them. We aren't given the specifics of how to now make this happen, but it's just kind of like implied Durandal gets it. He's like, we've got the answer. We can do it now. The previous clans were not able to enact it, even though they discovered this information, but we now know what they knew, and we can do it, hopefully before the Pfhor finish us off. During this time, Tycho also makes contact with us and sounds very rampant, similar to Durandal in his anger stage. He also confirms the destruction of Tau Ceti and all the colonists there, but there is an interesting line that I think implies that he captured the 9 Mjolnir Mark IV cyborgs, I think. Tycho then drops some massive knowledge detailing the cascading of series of events that has led to all this, why Durandal came to the Svit homeworld in the first place. Durandal, according to Tycho, found a Svit myth about a disappearing moon. And in Durandal's mind, if something could vanish from the universe, maybe it didn't vanish. Maybe it escaped. Remembering Durandal wants to escape the closure of the universe. Tycho confirms that this disappearing moon was not Svit in origin, but rather linked to another mysterious race known as the Jjaro, who disappeared millions of years ago. They left behind military outposts with advanced technology that the Pfhor found. The Pfhor had numerous mishaps with this advanced technology, one of which included warping an entire planet between solar systems. And Tycho says that is what created this myth of a disappearing moon. This history provides explanation to how the Pfhor have been able to conquer so many other races, as they have leveraged this incredibly powerful Jjaro technology. And sometimes their misunderstanding of this technology disappeared a planet, and that's what Durandal saw and thought, oh, maybe this is the solution for me to escape the universe, leading him to the Svit home planet, because he thought it was Svit in Origins. Like I said before, the 4 reinforcements arrive, they cripple Durandal's ship, and Tycho is now destroying Durandal, oh my god, who is begging us to destroy his cause so he can't be captured like Leela was. Leela was thought to have been captured from the Marathon just after Marathon 1 and sent to the Pfhor home planet to be studied. Despite our efforts to help Durandal, it appears Durandal is contained by Tycho, with Durandal's instructing us to seek out Robert Blake in his absence, the leader of the reigning colonists. Well, turns out not only Durandal was captured, but we were also captured trying to help him, and also held prisoner by the Pfhor, only later to be rescued by Robert Blake. Very convenient. Robert Blake talks about a Pfhor virus, how they've been surviving while we were captured. I think it was for like a month or something. And they have had this Pfhor virus in the bunkers of the Citadel. They discovered it. It was bioengineered by the Spht 1,000 years ago to take out the Pfhor. I think they die in like an hour or something like that. And this has been effective in stalling the Pfhor from finish them off while they keep trying to search for how to get active, get to this 11th clan. Okay? Durandal's last instructions to Blake in regards to getting hold of this 11th Spht clan was to reactivate a dormant Spht AI, with Robert Blake confirming this AI would connect them with the lost 11th Spht clan. Durandal had given the AI the name Thoth, but Robert Blake has no further instructions once the AI is awoken. Like, will it just do its thing? Like, we don't know what else to do. The only thing I know is we've got to activate this AI, this Spht AI called Thoth. The line of thinking is the 11th clan, the Spht have had 1,000 years to develop. Activate this AI, which will contact them, and they'll come down to our rescue. I think at this point, we get a message in secret from the now captured Durandal talking about Thoth, and how Thoth is not on any side. They're about balance, both creation and destruction, not the triumph of one over another. Yeah, they're not necessarily going to be the good guy. And there's a lot of Bungie DNA in this, like I said before, that makes its way into Destiny. Robert Blake also says he's not super sad about Durandal being captured because now they are free from this AI's order and plan to hijack a Pfhor ship and just get back to Earth. The Pfhor continue to press Robert Blake and attack the Citadel, now leveraging cyborg slaves who are immune to the Pfhor virus, and Robert pleads that we get this Thoth AI online, and hopefully it's on our side. Thoth is eventually brought online, and there are a series of terminals that I truly do not understand or comprehend. They are visually different from Durandal's or Tycho's terminals, so we know that it's the AI speaking to us. But the important thing is, with the arrival of these new terminals, we see the return of Durandal terminals. Similar to how we tried to sell the Marathon in the first game. I don't know if I actually mentioned this in my last video, but in the first game, he placed the Marathon in a classified section of a newspaper where you would buy used cars. You know, like listing how many kilometers it has on it. It's got air conditioning, blah, blah, blah. And it's like he's literally selling like a starship. And he does something similar in Marathon 2. I think he's trying to sell the AIs in this one, making us think, okay, he's back. He's out of captivity now. Another terminal from Thoth simply says the 11th clan will return. Right. Moving on to the next mission, Durandal does in fact return, I assume seemingly assisted by Thoth, and he takes over the largest Pfhor ship and wreaks havoc across the rest of the fleet. This fleet that is led by fear and is meant to be incredibly powerful. The 11th clan then arrives in cybernetic exoskeletons. Fantastic. They have been developing over 1,000 years, and we fight alongside them to defeat the remaining 4. Durandal apparently destroys Tycho's ships, crashing it into the moon of the Spht homeworld. Another moon, by the way. It is here he mentions his meta-stable personality, and I believe there are a bunch of theories about this. I think it means that once an AI has completed its rampancy, it becomes meta-stable. So maybe, you know, better for humans to work with. This could be something that comes up in the new Marathon. Robert Blake did achieve his goal, and he did hijack a Pfhor ship and headed back to Earth. At this point, Durandal explains his master plan. It's a bit cryptic, but this is my interpretation of it. He intentionally was captured by Tycho because he knew that Thoth would restore balance by freeing him, and so he needed to be absent. And freeing him aboard the Pfhor flagship would allow him to take it out, take it over, and wipe out this tremendous fleet. It gives me big Marasov snuck into Oryx's throne world kind of vibes. As Thoth is all about balance, Durandal now says, well, the AI is now trying to help the Pfhor because we're winning. But the Pfhor don't really understand Thoth the AI and are ignoring him. Rather than accept help from Thoth, the Pfhor, whose 7th fleet has never suffered such loss before, use a weapon they're inherited from the Jjaro, the Trizeme or early Nova. Pointed at the Spit home planet that would reduce it to a thin shell of plasma. But I think it's important to note here, and I think this is important for Marathon Infinity, is that the game doesn't confirm that they fire the weapon. I'm pretty sure Durandal just says, yo, let's not hang around to find out. Come with me. There's another ruined world I've got my eye on, this time far away from the galactic core. And then you just get the final page of lore, and it's full of like loose ends. Durandal apparently went AFK for 10,000 years before returning to Earth in a Jjaro dreadnought. He only stopped by Earth to make sure, hey, don't forget me. Leela, who was one of the original Marathon AIs, who was thought to have been taken to the Pfhor homeworld after Marathon 1, was accidentally captured by, I think, a space pirate who didn't realize Leela was this precious cargo on the Pfhor ship, contained AI. And then the pirate went and sold this cargo, and then Leela was accidentally reactivated, and she went rampant, taking down the 15 world network of the Vile. Before Tycho was destroyed in Marathon 2, the Pfhor modeled all of their personality constructs on Tycho. And after the Pfhor were eventually beaten by ongoing rebellions of the Spit, which is just told to us in this last page, these crippled Tycho mini-me's still exist on 4 colony worlds. Robert Blake, that colonist, did make it back to Earth in the hijacked Pfhor ship, and he and his crew are confirmed as the only surviving members of the original Tau Ceti Pfhor colony. However, it also has this weird little sentence in there where it says that when they hijacked this Pfhor ship, no one questioned who had already killed the crew. So they went to hijack the ship and everyone was already dead. They're like, oh, great. Meaning, someone helped them. Meaning, someone wanted them to escape and to return to Earth. And with that concludes my summary of the Marathon 2 lore. I am not going to have time to give Marathon Infinity this kind of attention. This is taking an incredible amount of time, and I just got flashbacks to how difficult Destiny lore videos are. So tomorrow on stream, depending on when you watch this, I'm just going to get people from chat to talk to me about Marathon Infinity and tell me what happens, and that's going to be a video. I've reached out to some other content creators, but they haven't responded. All right, I'll see you next time. Like and a comment, greatly appreciate it. Leave the word Marathon 2 if you'd like to support the channel. As usual, it's been a pleasure. This is Marlon Games. Peace.